welcome to Inspiring You. Thank you for joining us and checking in again. I'm Sandra Pollock, your host for this session, and yet again I have an absolutely brilliant guest. Again, someone who I've been friends with for a while. So let me introduce to you Sara O'Regan.
Hi.
Hi, Sara. Thanks for joining
No,
us.
thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
It's exciting.
It always is. Inspiring You always is exciting. So today what we are going to start talking about really is the start of your business.
Okay.
What spurred you on to start your business? So we'll get to that in a moment. But tell me a little bit about what you do, because it is a little unusual, in my opinion, anyhow. Sara, what do you do? What's your business about?
Well, I run a company called Bra Sense, and it is a bra and swimwear fitting service.
Yeah.
We're based over in Measham, but basically I cover the whole of the UK, from Aberdeen down to the Isle of Wight, over to Belfast, just dipping into Dublin later on in the year, and basically everywhere in between.
All right. So, as I said, that's unusual because most people, if you're like me, you go into a store and you buy a bra, and you think, oh, well, I'm roughly this sort of size. What makes your business different?
What we do is Bra Sense started as an online business, and because it was going to be online, we're looking at cutting down the returns, because returns are a killer for online businesses. So when I started, I had no experience of bras whatsoever, other than being a woman and wearing them, and looking to buy them, and having the same questions that everyone has now. So what I did was I looked very carefully at what was out there, at what the different brands were manufacturing, and realised that one 3060 is not the same as another 3060. Even within one manufacturer's range, it varied. So the theory behind it was, well, if someone was going to come online and order a 3060, if 3 or 4 3060s were going to be a different fit, then inevitably at least 3 were going to come back. Add into that 8% of women, or 8 to 9%, anywhere between 70 and 90, I think they quote, of women wearing the wrong bra size.
Right.
If they were going to come and order the size that was going to be wrong for them to start off with, it was going to be very hard for someone to come online, buy a bra, and for it actually stay out with them.
Sara, you're a bra geek. I mean, I've never heard.
No one's ever called me that.
I've never heard anybody explain all of this about a bra. You're an absolute geek. I would not go into a store thinking, okay, that's a different size to this. I just think, well, does it fit me?
So that's really where the online came from, in that we decided to look at the sizing guide and change the sizing guide over.
Right.
So that's what we did with our online site, and because of that, we got lots of inquiries. So we didn't sell much online initially. We got lots of inquiries. I've been to 3 different high street stores, and my different size in each one, which one is right. So from there, I got approached by a number of people who had female client bases, so spas, beauty salons, that sort of thing. And they said, would you come in and do a fit event to me and for my ladies? So that's what we did.
Okay,
That's what I did.
I'm going to hold you there for a moment, because what I want to do, this is really fascinating. What I want us to do, though, is to go back to where this started.
Okay.
And the reason I wanted us to focus on that is because it started with something that we all go through.
Yeah.
So take us back to, how long have you been in business now?
Well, Bra Sense has been trading for about 11, well, it'll be 11 years in August, so coming up to 11 years.
Okay.
But the idea started a few years before that, when I was actually in Zurich.
Right.
So after university, I did French and German at university. After university, I moved to Zurich. Met my dream guys, I thought, over there, got engaged, decided we were going to be staying over in Zurich. So after a number of years of teaching, it was, okay, let's come up with a business for me to be in over there.
So did you teach in
Yeah, I
Zurich?
taught English over there. That was the thing that I went over to do from the UK. So one of my memories was it was actually going on a date with this guy. And it was not having done my washing. So dashing out on the Friday, enjoying being in Zurich so much because the social life was fabulous. Dashing out on the Friday lunchtime, try and get something to wear. Couldn't find anything that fits, thinking, okay, I've got this and this that I can wear, but I need to go and get a white bra. So that was my thing after work, of going into one of the stores to try and find a white bra that I could wear. And there was literally, you went through the thing of what size am I?
Yeah.
And because it wasn't Marks and Spencer's, it was different stores. You couldn't, or Devon hadn't got your thing to rely on, dashing in. And a lady said to me, do you know what size you're buying? Would you like to be measured? And I said, oh, no, this will be right. And I sort of picked one up from the bottom. And that's really where it started from, the thing about bras. And what the thing was is that because the Swiss frame was so different to the expats who are out there, so the Americans, the Australians, the British, the South Africans, what I realised was none of us ever bought bras out there. We all
brought them back
home or had them sent out. And I remember, because as part of my degree I was in Germany, and exactly the same thing happened there. I lived with a Canadian and an American girl, and we did exactly the same thing. Everybody had their bras sent over. So that's really where it came from. So Bra Send started, was designed to be a service over in Switzerland, bringing bras in for the expats.
All as a result of you going on a date.
All on a date, yes.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened then?
We sort of planned to do Bra Sends over there, and the idea originally sort of came from being in Zurich, and then the relationship went wrong very quickly, and I'd sort of got 10 weeks left on my teaching contract, and so really had to fulfil that. Didn't want to leave that, so I had to look at really starting a new life for 10 weeks. So a new flat, you know, sorting out furniture, you know, everything.
So did you actually live together?
Yeah, we did. We lived together.
So you said it ended quite quickly. How long was the relationship?
The relationship lasted for about 3 years, 3.5 years.
That is in my books. In my books, that's a marriage.
Well, no, it went wrong. It literally went wrong overnight.
Yes.
You know, everything just literally changed.
Yes.
Overnight.
Yeah. So you had a good relationship.
Oh yeah, we
for
did.
a while.
Yeah.
And then something.
Had a fabulous relationship for a while,
Yes.
but then it just literally went wrong overnight, in that he was seeing somebody else, and you sort of found out about it on the Friday, and everything was over on the Saturday, and
so how did
come the Monday, you were looking for somewhere else to live.
Oh my goodness! So how did that make you feel? Because that is something that people go through, and they think, well, it's pretty much the end of the world.
It's because I had to carry on teaching, because he was over in a foreign country, and most of my Swiss friends were joint friends or his family. I've got lots of expat friends who are out there doing the same sort of thing, but it's a different support network that you have. And because everyone's just moved out there, you know, everyone doesn't have the same houses and things like that that you would have over here with your friends and family over here. So you sort of went into I suppose like into an automatic drive almost, in that it's like, right, I've got to find an apartment to live in for 10 weeks.
Yes.
That was the first issue, because it was a minimum contract of 6 months. So that was the first one.
That's quite a big one, really.
That was finding that. And then it was sorting that. Then it was letting the school know. Then it was where I was teaching. Then it was thinking about furniture. Then it was thinking about packing up. And I think I did it all in about 3 weeks, came back home for a week, and then went back out to finish the 10 weeks. Luckily it was school holiday time.
So was your ex-partner supportive in any way?
He was, but he was supportive, and he did help, but he didn't quite know what to do, but he did help.
Yeah,
so he did keep in touch.
Did you end on good terms? Or
yeah, I think we did.
Under the circumstances.
In the end, we did.
So you're saying that the idea itself was that created between the two of you? Or
it was very much my idea,
Yes.
and we were looking at running that alongside a language school.
Right.
Looking at the two ideas. So when everything went wrong, and I thought, right, what I'm going to do is like 10 weeks to go, and then it was all about focusing. You needed a plan, you needed to focus. So Bra Sense became, I want to do Bra Sense when I get back home. So that became my focus. I find you had to have a focal point, you had something to focus on. And that sort of pulled you through from one stage to another.
So I guess for anyone going through something like that, relationship breakup, or, you know, whether it's a career breakup in terms of your partnership with the organisation you're working for, it would be find something to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. Find something to focus on.
Yes, yeah. So your focus has created...
So my focus has been Bra Sense, and that's carried on.
That's a new word, bra geek. And that has carried on, because we met, gosh, how long ago has it been?
It must be 10 years ago we met.
10 years ago, yes. Yeah.
It was quite early on in Bra Sense days that we met.
So what are some of the challenges that you have been through then in creating your business?
Oh gosh, just about anything and everything. I think the same as anybody else. Starting an online site, and everyone's saying, online was the way to go, and it wasn't, because you put a website up and you thought, I'll do, and people naturally didn't find you, and then you thought, all right, I'll spend money doing SEO and advertising and everything else, and you were throwing money at it, and it still wasn't generating the results. So that was the worry. People were saying, oh no, it'll never work, the way you've got the site won't work. So that was the issue with online. The other one was when I very first started, a rep came round, and it was very hard to get brands to deal with you back then as an online business, because nobody really wanted to go near online, pure online. They're okay with the big brands, but not sort of the smaller ones starting up. And I remember one brand coming around, and it was a lady, and she had she was buying wholesale and putting her own label in, which is fine. And then what happened was it wasn't a suitable brand for me for online, so I didn't take it. But then after a couple of weeks later, we started to get orders coming through for a particular style, and it was always around a particular size. And they always came back. They were always being returned. And then about a year later, so that was the panic. Oh my God, now we've got orders coming in and people aren't keeping them. What's going wrong? And about a year later, I actually found out that this supplier, this brand, were actually recommending people come to us, measure, buy the bra from us, and a similar style to what they were selling, and then send it back to us, but they've got their size, so then go and buy from them online.
Tell me something about, what this has taught you about holding on to your dream.
I think that you do have to fight to hold on to your dream, but I think that it was somebody, looking back, it has been really hard, and each time you think, oh, shall I give up, shall I give up? But there's always something that appears. So for me, Bra Sense was supposed to be an online site. It's funny because it was supposed to be online, so it's supposed to be something. It wasn't me. It was online, and I was going to hide behind the online screen. Really, I didn't like to come forward as Bra Sense. I wanted to be behind the screen, and it's only that when I came forward as Bra Sense, and people now know me as Bra Sense, that it actually started to work.
So you
sounds really big-headed, isn't it? Well, but when people identified me as Bra Sense,
many of us don't want to be seen as big-headed.
No, I wanted to hide behind.
Yeah, you want to be behind that, but you have to be your dream is what I'm taking from that.
No, definitely. And like I say, it's had lots of twists and turns. When the first time somebody said, you want to come and do, because I work with one of the organisations I work with is House of Colour, and they've been fabulous and really supportive, and it's been a really good working relationship. And one of the ladies said to me, do you want to come and see me up in Glasgow? And I thought, Glasgow, that's a long way, and thinking, gosh. But that's been the absolute best. Best. We've formed. We're friends as well now. And have clients who've been going for 8 years up there. So the very first client still comes back to see me.
What about your personal life? How has living your dream impacted on your personal life?
Oh, that's an awkward question, Sandra.
What would you expect from me?
How is it? I think that your focus does become business, but I'm where I'm really lucky is that although it is business and although I am busy travelling around, I really enjoy and really like the people that I work with, and because it's people that you've known and you've built up a different sort of relationship with over the years, then you become friends with them, and you do have, and I am really lucky in that way, and that from a friendship perspective, I have lots of friends and lots of people that you can talk to, so I'm always with people, and then inevitably the personal life takes a bit of a backseat sometimes because you're not always. No, I don't know. I think life works out as it works out.
Yeah. So who has been in this journey so far? Then what has been and who has been? Two questions. I know you should never ask two at the same time. But okay, so let's see who's been your inspiration?
Well, I have to say I know we're doing this, but this is genuine. That you were actually a great help.
Thank you. Why so?
Because if you remember, a good few years ago, you invited me along to come and do some networking. And from there, and if I'd done some networking for years, and we hadn't actually got anywhere, then a few years after that, you'd invited me to come along. To a networking group, which then led to me meeting somebody, which then led on to me doing the House of Colour things that I do. And then that is sort of, because I've got the idea of travelling, it's got mushroomed and working with other people as well. So that was great. And so you've been inspirational in that way, and you were really helpful at the time. I think you allowed me to probably to sort of push me out a little bit more of myself rather than hiding behind a screen. I think you did push me out a little bit. And who else? I think actually, it's going to sound really daft, but it's actually been my mum and my dad, my parents.
Tell me about your mum and your dad.
Well, they've always supported me and they've always been behind me, and they've obviously seen the struggles and they've seen the you know, how far we've come really. But they've always been really, really supportive and said, you know, it'll get there. Life is hard. It is hard. Nothing worth having is easy. And you know, just keep going.
Yeah, that's fabulous. It's good to have that support at the back of you, really.
And then my sister as well. So I think it's been the family support which has been my main.
That's fantastic, really. And not everybody has that.
No, I've been very lucky with that.
So you have been very lucky. But it is out there, I think, for people. If they're looking, there are people opportunities out there. Okay. So in your learnings then, if you were to share something with our viewers that would be inspirational or encouraging, what might you want to share?
I think it's a few years ago now, and I was actually chatting to somebody who used to do counselling, and he said, and it's something that I remember, and when I've got a problem, when the problem comes up now, and you think, God, what am I going to do? And you panic and you might stress, and this is the way that I think. And he actually said that when people come to a crossroads in life, and they sort of break down, if you like, and struggle, they've had or they've got a decision to make. And they either can't or they're unable to make a decision. And once you've made a decision, then you're sort of halfway there. Because it doesn't really matter what decision you're making, but you're making a decision, that's what you focus on and that's what you're working towards. And I think that very much goes back to how I acted in Switzerland. And it's when you've got a problem, you've got an issue, struggling with something, don't sort of brush it to one side or think, God, how am I going to cope with this? It's still going to be there, the problem's still going to be there. Just sort of face it, make a decision and work at that decision.
And do you think that people struggle with that because they don't want to make the wrong decision?
I think probably people worry about the problem rather than thinking, okay, what are my options? What can I do? And I used to do that. I used to think, oh God, what am I going to do? I've got all these bills and not enough sales coming in. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? But if you're sitting down and working through things bit by bit, and once you've made a decision to tackle something, it's never ever as big as you think it is. And I know sometimes people aren't in a position to do that, and there can be lots of different sorts of decisions that need to be made and things. But I think once you've made the decision, you're halfway there.
I think that is fantastic advice, and that's what I would share and have shared with my clients. I mean, and make a decision. The wonderful thing about a decision is you can always change it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like taking a step.
Yeah.
1 foot forward, then the other foot, then the other foot. And if it's the wrong foot, then you just change it.
Yeah, it's a bit like when you're lost.
Yes.
If you're lost and you just carry on looking around, you're not going to go anywhere. But at least if you take one direction, then you know it's either the right or the wrong way, but you've got a bit more idea about where you are.
Yeah. Well, Sara, I've really enjoyed talking. I found out some things about you that I hadn't known before. And I've christened you the bra sense geek, which is tremendous. And thank you for your service. Now, I know that there's a tip that you give to women about how they should look when they're wearing their bra. Do you want to share that tip just before we go? Because it's about how their body positions. Well, you shared it with me ages ago. Because, this is going to be embarrassing for some of the guys watching. But if you're going to be buying a bra for your wife, your partner, your girlfriend,
I've forgotten one of my tips, by the way.
First of all, make sure you get her measured, or she gets measured.
Oh, I know.
And it is how the bra helps you hold your body. Do you remember that? And I don't know if the cameras are going to get this, but the cameras need to go out just a little bit so they can go on the top half here. But really, when you wear a bra,
it should be shoulders back, full of confidence.
Shoulders back. The bra helps you to hold your shoulders back. Chest forward, shoulders up. So if your bra doesn't do that for you, ladies, you need to see Sara. Sara O'Regan, thank you so much for coming in,
inviting me,
sharing your wonderful story and giving your inspiring, encouraging words. So I'm sure we'll be seeing each other soon.
Hopefully.
Viewers, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, found it fun and interesting as I have. Sara, thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye for
now.
Bye.